Now we are going to do our times tables from 1 to 30. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 10 is 10. 1 times 11 is 11. 1 times 12 is 12. 1 times 13 is 13. 1 times 14 is 14. 1 times 15 is 15. 1 times 16 is 16. 1 times 17 is 17. 1 times 18 is 18. 1 times 19 is 19. 1 times 20 is 20. 1 times 21 is 21. 1 times 22 is 22. 1 times 23 is 23. 1 times 24 is 24. 1 times 25 is 25. 1 times 26 is 26. 1 times 27 is 27. 1 times 28 is 28. 1 times 29 is 29. 1 times 30 is 30. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 10 is 20. 2 times 11 is 22. 2 times 12 is 24. 2 times 13 is 26. 2 times 14 is 28. 2 times 15 is 30. 2 times 16 is 32. 2 times 17 is 34. 2 times 18 is 36. 2 times 19 is 38. 2 times 20 is 40. 2 times 21 is 42. 2 times 22 is 44. 2 times 23 is 46. 2 times 24 is 48. 2 times 25 is 50. 2 times 26 is 52. 2 times 27 is 54. 2 times 28 is 56. 2 times 29 is 58. 2 times 30 is 60. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 11 is 33. 3 times 12 is 36. 3 times 13 is 39. 3 times 14 is 42. 3 times 15 is 45. 3 times 16 is 48. 3 times 17 is 51. 3 times 18 is 54. 3 times 19 is 57. 3 times 20 is 60. 3 times 21 is 63. 3 times 22 is 66. 3 times 23 is 69. 3 times 24 is 72. 3 times 25 is 75. 3 times 26 is 78. 3 times 27 is 81. 3 times 28 is 84. 3 times 29 is 87. 3 times 30 is 90. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 11 is 44. 4 times 12 is 48. 4 times 13 is 52. 4 times 14 is 56. 4 times 15 is 60. 4 times 16 is 64. 4 times 17 is 68. 4 times 18 is 72. 4 times 19 is 76. 4 times 20 is 80. 4 times 21 is 84. 4 times 22 is 88. 4 times 23 is 92. 4 times 24 is 96. 4 times 25 is 100. 4 times 26 is 104. 4 times 27 is 108. 4 times 28 is 112. 4 times 29 is 116. 4 times 30 is 120. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 9 is 45. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 11 is 55. 5 times 12 is 60. 5 times 13 is 65. 5 times 14 is 70. 5 times 15 is 75. 5 times 16 is 80. 5 times 17 is 85. 5 times 18 is 90. 5 times 19 is 95. 5 times 20 is 100. 5 times 21 is 105. 5 times 22 is 110. 5 times 23 is 115. 5 times 24 is 120. 5 times 25 is 125. 5 times 26 is 130. 5 times 27 is 135. 5 times 28 is 140. 5 times 29 is 145. 5 times 30 is 150. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 11 is 66. 6 times 12 is 72. 6 times 13 is 78. 6 times 14 is 84. 6 times 15 is 90. 6 times 16 is 96. 6 times 17 is 102. 6 times 18 is 108. 6 times 19 is 114. 6 times 20 is 120. 6 times 21 is 126. 6 times 22 is 132. 6 times 23 is 138. 6 times 24 is 144. 6 times 25 is 150. 6 times 26 is 156. 6 times 27 is 162. 6 times 28 is 168. 6 times 29 is 174. 6 times 30 is 180. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 9 is 63. 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 11 is 77. 7 times 12 is 84. 7 times 13 is 91. 7 times 14 is 98. 7 times 15 is 105. 7 times 16 is 112. 7 times 17 is 119. 7 times 18 is 126. 7 times 19 is 133. 7 times 20 is 140. 7 times 21 is 147. 7 times 22 is 154. 7 times 23 is 161. 7 times 24 is 168. 7 times 25 is 175. 7 times 26 is 182. 7 times 27 is 189. 7 times 28 is 196. 7 times 29 is 203. 7 times 30 is 210. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 9 is 72. 8 times 10 is 80. 8 times 11 is 88. 8 times 12 is 96. 8 times 13 is 104. 8 times 14 is 112. 8 times 15 is 120. 8 times 16 is 128. 8 times 17 is 136. 8 times 18 is 144. 8 times 19 is 152. 8 times 20 is 160. 8 times 21 is 168. 8 times 22 is 176. 8 times 23 is 184. 8 times 24 is 192. 8 times 25 is 200. 8 times 26 is 208. 8 times 27 is 216. 8 times 28 is 224. 8 times 29 is 232. 8 times 30 is 240. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 8 is 72. 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times 10 is 90. 9 times 11 is 99. 9 times 12 is 108. 9 times 13 is 117. 9 times 14 is 126. 9 times 15 is 135. 9 times 16 is 144. 9 times 17 is 153. 9 times 18 is 162. 9 times 19 is 171. 9 times 20 is 180. 9 times 21 is 189. 9 times 22 is 198. 9 times 23 is 207. 9 times 24 is 216. 9 times 25 is 225. 9 times 26 is 234. 9 times 27 is 243. 9 times 28 is 252. 9 times 29 is 261. 9 times 30 is 270. 10 times 1 is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. 10 times 3 is 30. 10 times 4 is 40. 10 times 5 is 50. 10 times 6 is 60. 10 times 7 is 70. 10 times 8 is 80. 10 times 9 is 90. 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 11 is 110. 10 times 12 is 120. 10 times 13 is 130. 10 times 14 is 140. 10 times 15 is 150. 10 times 16 is 160. 10 times 17 is 170. 10 times 18 is 180. 10 times 19 is 190. 10 times 20 is 200. 10 times 21 is 210. 10 times 22 is 220. 10 times 23 is 230. 10 times 24 is 240. 10 times 25 is 250. 10 times 26 is 260. 10 times 27 is 270. 10 times 28 is 280. 10 times 29 is 290. 10 times 30 is 300. 11 times 1 is 11. 11 times 2 is 22. 11 times 3 is 33. 11 times 4 is 44. 11 times 5 is 55. 11 times 6 is 66. 11 times 7 is 77. 11 times 8 is 88. 11 times 9 is 99. 11 times 10 is 110. 11 times 11 is 121. 11 times 12 is 132. 11 times 13 is 143. 11 times 14 is 154. 11 times 15 is 165. 11 times 16 is 176. 11 times 17 is 187. 11 times 18 is 198. 11 times 19 is 209. 11 times 20 is 220. 11 times 21 is 231. 11 times 22 is 242. 11 times 23 is 253. 11 times 24 is 264. 11 times 25 is 275. 11 times 26 is 286. 11 times 27 is 297. 11 times 28 is 308. 11 times 29 is 319. 11 times 30 is 330. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times 3 is 36. 12 times 4 is 48. 12 times 5 is 60. 12 times 6 is 72. 12 times 7 is 84. 12 times 8 is 96. 12 times 9 is 108. 12 times 10 is 120. 12 times 11 is 132. 12 times 12 is 144. 12 times 13 is 156. 12 times 14 is 168. 12 times 15 is 180. 12 times 16 is 192. 12 times 17 is 204. 12 times 18 is 216. 12 times 19 is 228. 12 times 20 is 240. 12 times 21 is 252. 12 times 22 is 264. 12 times 23 is 276. 12 times 24 is 288. 12 times 25 is 300. 12 times 26 is 312. 12 times 27 is 324. 12 times 28 is 336. 12 times 29 is 348. 12 times 30 is 360. 13 times 1 is 13. 13 times 2 is 26. 13 times 3 is 39. 13 times 4 is 52. 13 times 5 is 65. 13 times 6 is 78. 13 times 7 is 91. 13 times 8 is 104. 13 times 9 is 117. 13 times 10 is 130. 13 times 11 is 143. 13 times 12 is 156. 13 times 13 is 169. 13 times 14 is 182. 13 times 15 is 195. 13 times 16 is 208. 13 times 17 is 221. 13 times 18 is 234. 13 times 19 is 247. 13 times 20 is 260. 13 times 21 is 273. 13 times 22 is 286. 13 times 23 is 299. 13 times 24 is 312. 13 times 25 is 325. 13 times 26 is 338. 13 times 27 is 351. 13 times 28 is 364. 13 times 29 is 377. 13 times 30 is 390. 14 times 1 is 14. 14 times 2 is 28. 14 times 3 is 42. 14 times 4 is 56. 14 times 5 is 70. 14 times 6 is 84. 14 times 7 is 98. 14 times 8 is 112. 14 times 9 is 126. 14 times 10 is 140. 14 times 11 is 154. 14 times 12 is 168. 14 times 13 is 182. 14 times 14 is 196. 14 times 15 is 210. 14 times 16 is 224. 14 times 17 is 238. 14 times 18 is 252. 14 times 19 is 266. 14 times 20 is 280. 14 times 21 is 294. 14 times 22 is 308. 14 times 23 is 322. 14 times 24 is 336. 14 times 25 is 350. 14 times 26 is 364. 14 times 27 is 378. 14 times 28 is 392. 14 times 29 is 406. 14 times 30 is 420. 15 times 1 is 15. 15 times 2 is 30. 15 times 3 is 45. 15 times 4 is 60. 15 times 5 is 75. 15 times 6 is 90. 15 times 7 is 105. 15 times 8 is 120. 15 times 9 is 135. 15 times 10 is 150. 15 times 11 is 165. 15 times 12 is 180. 15 times 13 is 195. 15 times 14 is 210. 15 times 15 is 225. 15 times 16 is 240. 15 times 17 is 255. 15 times 18 is 270. 15 times 19 is 285. 15 times 20 is 300. 15 times 21 is 315. 15 times 22 is 330. 15 times 23 is 345. 15 times 24 is 360. 15 times 25 is 375. 15 times 26 is 390. 15 times 27 is 405. 15 times 28 is 420. 15 times 29 is 435. 15 times 30 is 450. 16 times 1 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. 16 times 3 is 48. 16 times 4 is 64. 16 times 5 is 80. 16 times 6 is 96. 16 times 7 is 112. 16 times 8 is 128. 16 times 9 is 144. 16 times 10 is 160. 16 times 11 is 176. 16 times 12 is 192. 16 times 13 is 208. 16 times 14 is 224. 16 times 15 is 240. 16 times 16 is 256. 16 times 17 is 272. 16 times 18 is 288. 16 times 19 is 304. 16 times 20 is 320. 16 times 21 is 336. 16 times 22 is 352. 16 times 23 is 368. 16 times 24 is 384. 16 times 25 is 400. 16 times 26 is 416. 16 times 27 is 432. 16 times 28 is 448. 16 times 29 is 464. 16 times 30 is 480. 17 times 1 is 17. 17 times 2 is 34. 17 times 3 is 51. 17 times 4 is 68. 17 times 5 is 85. 17 times 6 is 102. 17 times 7 is 119. 17 times 8 is 136. 17 times 9 is 153. 17 times 10 is 170. 17 times 11 is 187. 17 times 12 is 204. 17 times 13 is 221. 17 times 14 is 238. 17 times 15 is 255. 17 times 16 is 272. 17 times 17 is 289. 17 times 18 is 306. 17 times 19 is 323. 17 times 20 is 340. 17 times 21 is 357. 17 times 22 is 374. 17 times 23 is 391. 17 times 24 is 408. 17 times 25 is 425. 17 times 26 is 442. 17 times 27 is 459. 17 times 28 is 476. 17 times 29 is 493. 17 times 30 is 510. 18 times 1 is 18. 18 times 2 is 36. 18 times 3 is 54. 18 times 4 is 72. 18 times 5 is 90. 18 times 6 is 108. 18 times 7 is 126. 18 times 8 is 144. 18 times 9 is 162. 18 times 10 is 180. 18 times 11 is 198. 18 times 12 is 216. 18 times 13 is 234. 18 times 14 is 252. 18 times 15 is 270. 18 times 16 is 288. 18 times 17 is 306. 18 times 18 is 324. 18 times 19 is 342. 18 times 20 is 360. 18 times 21 is 378. 18 times 22 is 396. 18 times 23 is 414. 18 times 24 is 432. 18 times 25 is 450. 18 times 26 is 468. 18 times 27 is 486. 18 times 28 is 504. 18 times 29 is 522. 18 times 30 is 540. 19 times 1 is 19. 19 times 2 is 38. 19 times 3 is 57. 19 times 4 is 76. 19 times 5 is 95. 19 times 6 is 114. 19 times 7 is 133. 19 times 8 is 152. 19 times 9 is 171. 19 times 10 is 190. 19 times 11 is 209. 19 times 12 is 228. 19 times 13 is 247. 19 times 14 is 266. 19 times 15 is 285. 19 times 16 is 304. 19 times 17 is 323. 19 times 18 is 342. 19 times 19 is 361. 19 times 20 is 380. 19 times 21 is 399. 19 times 22 is 418. 19 times 23 is 437. 19 times 24 is 456. 19 times 25 is 475. 19 times 26 is 494. 19 times 27 is 513. 19 times 28 is 532. 19 times 29 is 551. 19 times 30 is 570. 20 times 1 is 20. 20 times 2 is 40. 20 times 3 is 60. 20 times 4 is 80. 20 times 5 is 100. 20 times 6 is 120. 20 times 7 is 140. 20 times 8 is 160. 20 times 9 is 180. 20 times 10 is 200. 20 times 11 is 220. 20 times 12 is 240. 20 times 13 is 260. 20 times 14 is 280. 20 times 15 is 300. 20 times 16 is 320. 20 times 17 is 340. 20 times 18 is 360. 20 times 19 is 380. 20 times 20 is 400. 20 times 21 is 420. 20 times 22 is 440. 20 times 23 is 460. 20 times 24 is 480. 20 times 25 is 500. 20 times 26 is 520. 20 times 27 is 540. 20 times 28 is 560. 20 times 29 is 580. 20 times 30 is 600. 21 times 1 is 21. 21 times 2 is 42. 21 times 3 is 63. 21 times 4 is 84. 21 times 5 is 105. 21 times 6 is 126. 21 times 7 is 147. 21 times 8 is 168. 21 times 9 is 189. 21 times 10 is 210. 21 times 11 is 231. 21 times 12 is 252. 21 times 13 is 273. 21 times 14 is 294. 21 times 15 is 315. 21 times 16 is 336. 21 times 17 is 357. 21 times 18 is 378. 21 times 19 is 399. 21 times 20 is 420. 21 times 21 is 441. 21 times 22 is 462. 21 times 23 is 483. 21 times 24 is 504. 21 times 25 is 525. 21 times 26 is 546. 21 times 27 is 567. 21 times 28 is 588. 21 times 29 is 609. 21 times 30 is 630. 22 times 1 is 22. 22 times 2 is 44. 22 times 3 is 66. 22 times 4 is 88. 22 times 5 is 110. 22 times 6 is 132. 22 times 7 is 154. 22 times 8 is 176. 22 times 9 is 198. 22 times 10 is 220. 22 times 11 is 242. 22 times 12 is 264. 22 times 13 is 286. 22 times 14 is 308. 22 times 15 is 330. 22 times 16 is 352. 22 times 17 is 374. 22 times 18 is 396. 22 times 19 is 418. 22 times 20 is 440. 22 times 21 is 462. 22 times 22 is 484. 22 times 23 is 506. 22 times 24 is 528. 22 times 25 is 550. 22 times 26 is 572. 22 times 27 is 594. 22 times 28 is 616. 22 times 29 is 638. 22 times 30 is 660. 23 times 1 is 23. 23 times 2 is 46. 23 times 3 is 69. 23 times 4 is 92. 23 times 5 is 115. 23 times 6 is 138. 23 times 7 is 161. 23 times 8 is 184. 23 times 9 is 207. 23 times 10 is 230. 23 times 11 is 253. 23 times 12 is 276. 23 times 13 is 299. 23 times 14 is 322. 23 times 15 is 345. 23 times 16 is 368. 23 times 17 is 391. 23 times 18 is 414. 23 times 19 is 437. 23 times 20 is 460. 23 times 21 is 483. 23 times 22 is 506. 23 times 23 is 529. 23 times 24 is 552. 23 times 25 is 575. 23 times 26 is 598. 23 times 27 is 621. 23 times 28 is 644. 23 times 29 is 667. 23 times 30 is 690. 24 times 1 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. 24 times 3 is 72. 24 times 4 is 96. 24 times 5 is 120. 24 times 6 is 144. 24 times 7 is 168. 24 times 8 is 192. 24 times 9 is 216. 24 times 10 is 240. 24 times 11 is 264. 24 times 12 is 288. 24 times 13 is 312. 24 times 14 is 336. 24 times 15 is 360. 24 times 16 is 384. 24 times 17 is 408. 24 times 18 is 432. 24 times 19 is 456. 24 times 20 is 480. 24 times 21 is 504. 24 times 22 is 528. 24 times 23 is 552. 24 times 24 is 576. 24 times 25 is 600. 24 times 26 is 624. 24 times 27 is 648. 24 times 28 is 672. 24 times 29 is 696. 24 times 30 is 720. 25 times 1 is 25. 25 times 2 is 50. 25 times 3 is 75. 25 times 4 is 100. 25 times 5 is 125. 25 times 6 is 150. 25 times 7 is 175. 25 times 8 is 200. 25 times 9 is 225. 25 times 10 is 250. 25 times 11 is 275. 25 times 12 is 300. 25 times 13 is 325. 25 times 14 is 350. 25 times 15 is 375. 25 times 16 is 400. 25 times 17 is 425. 25 times 18 is 450. 25 times 19 is 475. 25 times 20 is 500. 25 times 21 is 525. 25 times 22 is 550. 25 times 23 is 575. 25 times 24 is 600. 25 times 25 is 625. 25 times 26 is 650. 25 times 27 is 675. 25 times 28 is 700. 25 times 29 is 725. 25 times 30 is 750. 26 times 1 is 26. 26 times 2 is 52. 26 times 3 is 78. 26 times 4 is 104. 26 times 5 is 130. 26 times 6 is 156. 26 times 7 is 182. 26 times 8 is 208. 26 times 9 is 234. 26 times 10 is 260. 26 times 11 is 286. 26 times 12 is 312. 26 times 13 is 338. 26 times 14 is 364. 26 times 15 is 390. 26 times 16 is 416. 26 times 17 is 442. 26 times 18 is 468. 26 times 19 is 494. 26 times 20 is 520. 26 times 21 is 546. 26 times 22 is 572. 26 times 23 is 598. 26 times 24 is 624. 26 times 25 is 650. 26 times 26 is 676. 26 times 27 is 702. 26 times 28 is 728. 26 times 29 is 754. 26 times 30 is 780. 27 times 1 is 27. 27 times 2 is 54. 27 times 3 is 81. 27 times 4 is 108. 27 times 5 is 135. 27 times 6 is 162. 27 times 7 is 189. 27 times 8 is 216. 27 times 9 is 243. 27 times 10 is 270. 27 times 11 is 297. 27 times 12 is 324. 27 times 13 is 351. 27 times 14 is 378. 27 times 15 is 405. 27 times 16 is 432. 27 times 17 is 459. 27 times 18 is 486. 27 times 19 is 513. 27 times 20 is 540. 27 times 21 is 567. 27 times 22 is 594. 27 times 23 is 621. 27 times 24 is 648. 27 times 25 is 675. 27 times 26 is 702. 27 times 27 is 729. 27 times 28 is 756. 27 times 29 is 783. 27 times 30 is 810. 28 times 1 is 28. 28 times 2 is 56. 28 times 3 is 84. 28 times 4 is 112. 28 times 5 is 140. 28 times 6 is 168. 28 times 7 is 196. 28 times 8 is 224. 28 times 9 is 252. 28 times 10 is 280. 28 times 11 is 308. 28 times 12 is 336. 28 times 13 is 364. 28 times 14 is 392. 28 times 15 is 420. 28 times 16 is 448. 28 times 17 is 476. 28 times 18 is 504. 28 times 19 is 532. 28 times 20 is 560. 28 times 21 is 588. 28 times 22 is 616. 28 times 23 is 644. 28 times 24 is 672. 28 times 25 is 700. 28 times 26 is 728. 28 times 27 is 756. 28 times 28 is 784. 28 times 29 is 812. 28 times 30 is 840. 29 times 1 is 29. 29 times 2 is 58. 29 times 3 is 87. 29 times 4 is 116. 29 times 5 is 145. 29 times 6 is 174. 29 times 7 is 203. 29 times 8 is 232. 29 times 9 is 261. 29 times 10 is 290. 29 times 11 is 319. 29 times 12 is 348. 29 times 13 is 377. 29 times 14 is 406. 29 times 15 is 435. 29 times 16 is 464. 29 times 17 is 493. 29 times 18 is 522. 29 times 19 is 551. 29 times 20 is 580. 29 times 21 is 609. 29 times 22 is 638. 29 times 23 is 667. 29 times 24 is 696. 29 times 25 is 725. 29 times 26 is 754. 29 times 27 is 783. 29 times 28 is 812. 29 times 29 is 841. 29 times 30 is 870. 30 times 1 is 30. 30 times 2 is 60. 30 times 3 is 90. 30 times 4 is 120. 30 times 5 is 150. 30 times 6 is 180. 30 times 7 is 210. 30 times 8 is 240. 30 times 9 is 270. 30 times 10 is 300. 30 times 11 is 330. 30 times 12 is 360. 30 times 13 is 390. 30 times 14 is 420. 30 times 15 is 450. 30 times 16 is 480. 30 times 17 is 510. 30 times 18 is 540. 30 times 19 is 570. 30 times 20 is 600. 30 times 21 is 630. 30 times 22 is 660. 30 times 23 is 690. 30 times 24 is 720. 30 times 25 is 750. 30 times 26 is 780. 30 times 27 is 810. 30 times 28 is 840. 30 times 29 is 870. 30 times 30 is 900.